Welcome back to another reaction for Witch Hat Atelier, episode 7.
身はしっかり抱えてろよ。
もちろんです。
魔法使い。橋はあの木の下です。
私も連れて行ってください。役に立ってみせます。必ず。
アガット、いつもの課題とはわけが違うんだよ。魔法使いでない人々もたくさんいる。彼らの前で魔法を使うことが許されるようになる第2の試験も受けてないじゃないか。だから今はまだ。
今じゃなければいつですか。自主的に練習も積んでいます。人前でも使えるように。試験の準備だってずっと前からしています。師は弟子に経験を積む機会をもっと与えるべきではありませんか。
そうは言っても。
I mean, it seems like the rules are simple, right? You do the first test, you become his apprentice. You do the second test, where you successfully do the second test, you are allowed to cast in front of people. I don't know why it's a different thing. Most likely because you have to be careful of the secret, because you are not allowed to really show them that you only need, quote unquote, only need to draw with that special ink to make magic. That is a big secret. So I'm guessing that is why there's a test. To be able to cast in front of people. It makes sense. Now she's like, I want to do it anyway, and why are you rushing is the question. Why do you need to do it now? Additionally, this is a situation where people are in danger. So that is also another factor. Wouldn't it just be enough to have those two guys, right? Him and the other dude. They're both, I don't know if they're strong, but they do both know how to do magic. He's also specialized in water magic. So there should be enough. You don't really need Ergot. You could bring her with you to show a little bit, to give her a little bit of a visual representation of casting in front of people, but she doesn't need to act, right? Was there a reason why we need to leave someone behind? I don't remember.
急いでください。一刻も早く戻らなくては。俺が先に行こう。向こうで扉窓の出口を設置しておく。お前は薬と魔法器の用意をしてから来い。アガットは俺が連れて行く。
マントと帽子を取ってきます。私たちも。
Everyone is coming? Okay.
中をするなよ。現実を見てわかることもあるだろう。
心配なんだ。
Mm.
特にアガットはできるようになる喜びよりできない焦りへ目を向けすぎる。未熟なことは罪ではないのに、成長を急ぐあまり足を踏み外さなければいいのだけど。
So she is essentially opposite of Coco, right? Coco enjoys all the stuff she can do. Every little bit of magic she learns and is able to do, she's happy about. And our god is unhappy about the stuff she can't do. Both of them are probably opposites. I'm assuming they are supposed to be quite opposite of each other. Now, I'm assuming they are not allowed to go and cast out in the open. In this case, they are more or less just there to showcase how this works, what people think about witches, which we have not really seen, what a normal person would watch or would how they behave with witches. We only know people that already had acquaintance with magic. But what about normal people? How do they behave? Are they just okay with it? Are they going to show disdain?
足場が脆いな。
I also feel like it should be the other way around. Like, Keyfrey is specialized in water magic. He's probably the one that can do the most stuff here. He summoned a giant water dragon. I mean, but sure. Maybe he's also good with water magic. What is Magic 4 is the name of the episode.
よかったわ、もう安心ね。
おい、魔法使いが来たぞ。
アガット、これの使い方はわかるな。みんなの服をそいつで乾かしてやれ。それが終わったら待機だ。
この魔法機を使うだけですか？他にもっと。
それだけだ。他になんだ。簡単すぎてやりがいにかけるか。キーフリーの懸念通りだな。アガット、お前は焦りすぎてる。自分の力を示したいなら表現の場は他にある。だが今ここで役に立ちたいなら何のために魔法を使うのかよく考えろ。
I do wonder why she is so hasty. Well, what is the reason? We don't... I'm assuming we are going to find out a little bit more this episode. Additionally, this is like an emergency situation. I would assume that they are going to be taught like, hey, listen, emergency situation. I am above you because I have more experience. I have done all these tests. Yada yada yada. We agree. I am your superior, so I take command and you listen. You don't question. You just listen and do what I say you do. Simple as that. If I tell you to dry them off, you dry them off. If I tell you to jump off the cliff, you jump off the cliff, kind of deal. Naturally, within reason, and not like, oh, I want to do more. It doesn't matter. We are in an emergency situation, right? I can't rescue these people and at the same time babysit you. Also, the window way.
そうやってまた無能な子供扱い。人一倍努力しても成果が出なきゃ無意味だわ。一刻も早くあの人に証明したいのに。
Is that person?
私はもっと価値のある魔法使いだと。
Again, the window way has like a wholly different makeup than the normal magic casting casting seals. So I wonder how it exactly that works. Would be nice to get a insight on that at some point. But other than that, okay, she wants to prove herself to that person, which is probably her dad or some bullshit. I mean, she's a child, so all the reasons she has are most likely stupid and make sense for a child. That is just how shit we are. Totally fine. Still, this is an emergency situation. If she makes it worse, then she should be punished. This is the problem. You have to make her accept that what she's doing is not furthering her goal. That is the point. Because that is what she cares about. If you mess up here, you set yourself back, and that way you don't do it again. Hopefully. Again, water magic. Is that sword full of water? And there's a... Is that a magic, a casting seal on the blade? A bunch of them? It looks like it. Would explain the water. But you still specialize in water. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Because you don't like water, you don't like being wet and stuff. That is why you specialize in water. I don't remember. Wasn't it also you don't swim? Something like that. Which means that going to the underwater city is probably not something you want to do. It also explains why you didn't move there. We did have the whole conversation. Why are you not moving here? If you come here with all your apprentices, here you have everything you need. And he's like, I don't want to. Makes sense. Just because he doesn't like water. A little bit too easy, huh?
ごめん、俺ダグダの罪に守ろうとしたんだけど。
いいんだ。お前が無事なら。
Interesting. They call each other by names. They don't have the same skin color. It seems like he's some kind of apprentice. I don't want to say slave because we don't know the laws and stuff, but he seems to be like an apprentice that is also traveling and seemingly responsible for probably like miscellaneous stuff, taking care of the cargo, taking care of the animal whenever you rest. Meanwhile, he is a guy is cooking or stuff like that. Okay. Just interesting. They don't seem to be family.
本当にありがとうございました。
いえ、間に合ってよかった。弟子たちが薬を持ってますので、傷の手当てはあちらで。お？
すごい。激ヤバ。ちょっと気になるだけよ。これ最高最強だ。キューフレ先生、これ何ですか？
Everyone is like, oh, the sword. I mean, to be honest, you could exchange all of these for boys. In this case, it would be the same. I mean, it is a cool sword, a water sword. I mean, for someone who hates water, he has a lot of water stuff.
ちょっと気になるだけよ。これ最高最強だ。キューフレ先生、これ何ですか？
これは水裂の魔法剣だよ。刃の表面に刻まれた模様はすべて魔法陣でね。
It is casting seals. Yep. We do have some. Okay. Man, the whole system. Which Now that you say that, how do they work? Don't you need to have like a magic circle around them? Because that's the whole point. You have a sigil, you have a sign or signs, and then you have a magic circle around it. Here we don't. Unless he's like, oh yeah, look at this is the magic circle kind of stuff. Also, we have like signs connected, which is a little bit different. We have some signs that we have already seen. We also, all the signs are inside circles, which is a little bit different. I mean, they all are like little circles outside. I don't know what they do. But this one is very strange. It does not behave like we have heard.
すべて魔法陣でね。小さな陣でもこれだけ集めたら海だって切り開くことができるんだ。
キーフリー先生、それちょっと持たせて。
ダメ。武器にかけられた魔法は扱いに注意がいるんだよ。危ないからまだ君たちには触らせられないな。
Makes sense, makes sense. I still, I don't know how this works at all. This does not behave like it should, right? The sigil in the middle is also has like waves coming out of it. So there is some other rule. Before we had the rule again, magic seal, signs, circle. Close the circle, the sigil activates with the signs, bam, magic. Here we don't have a magic circle anymore. At least we don't have all the signs inside the magic circle. Maybe you don't need that. Maybe you don't need the signs inside the magic circle. You only need the seal inside the magic circle. Maybe it's also because the signs were also in little circles that they activate. But then which circle do you close to activate the weapon, right? The effect. Because we have multiple of the casting seals. You can't close them all at the same time. Unless, wait, didn't he say it's carved? I believe, yeah. I believe it's carved. So maybe you could. There's definitely more rules we need to explore here.
注意がいるんだよ。危ないから。まだ
Just wanted to look at the handle. Does not seem extra. Even though it has
まだ
like the
君たちに
little
は触らせられないな。
gem.
キーフリー、俺は念のため上流の様子を見てくる。
じゃあ僕は下流の被害を確かめてこよう。テティア、一緒においで。
リチェは俺と来い。
二人ともここは
I was like, why these two? It makes sense. They have the safe boots. The other two don't have
任せたよ。
the
す
boot.
ぐ戻る。
I would instantly try to copy the sigils, the casting sign. Seal.
めちゃめちゃ気まずい。早くアガットの飛び靴直して返さなきゃ。はい、できました。
ありがとね、小さな魔法使いさん。
Apprentice.
小さな魔法使いさん。
No, apprentice.
よっと。にしても積み荷の半分は流されちまったんだな。
No, 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 no.
何をしているんだ。戻ってきなさい。グッサス。
大丈夫だぜダグだ。ここんとこ岸がくぼんでて俺たちの荷も引っかかってるんだ。拾ったらすぐ戻るって。
バカ野郎！くぼんでるってことは一遍崩れたってことだ。早く戻りなさい、グスタス。
I mean, natural selection, right? His, I assume, boss told him to not do this. And he was like, no, I'm going to do this. No, you don't. I'm going to do it. No, yes, no. How many times, just listen to people. Where's Coco?
まさかこっちこっち。あなた平気なの？怪我は？私は平気。でも
グスタス、返事をしてくれ。グスタス、グスタス。そうだ、どうしたらそうだ、魔法使いがいるじゃないか。
Apprentice.
頼む、魔法使いは助けられるだろう。どうかあの子を助けてくれ。
これはチャンスだわ。だって先生たちはいない。飛び靴がないから呼びにも行けない。ココも動けなくて今は非常事態。私が魔法で助けたらあの人を見返すことができるかも。
お嬢ちゃん、今度はあんたが魔法を使うのか？この子が魔法で助けるってさ。
どんな魔法が見れるんだ？
What? This turns suspicious really quickly. The big problem is she's not prepared. She doesn't have anything she can use right now. She would need to draw a casting seal, right? Unless she wants to use her flamethrower. No idea how effective that is going to be in rescuing people. And if she does that, you are not allowed to do that. You have to keep the secret. So the problem is also she most likely has not learned some of the other skills. Sigils. The names. Because if Coco was here, she could use her firework sigil to just have firework go up in the air, and this probably would cause a master back. What she could do, Agot, is just use the flamethrower into the air, right? This should also be a good signal. But she's going to try to rescue, and she's going to mess up, right? I don't know in one way. Is she going to succeed in the rescue, but showcase how magic is being done, therefore more or less going against the rules, or is she even going to mess up the whole rescue itself?
さあ見せてみなさい、アガット。これがこの娘の魔法かね。
Why do I feel like she is connected to the brimmed hat? Right? Also, I feel like her priority shifted from, because she saw the situation and instead of being like, oh, I need to rescue them, she was like, this time I can prove myself. Disregarding that these people are in danger.
他の子と比べてしまうとな。もっと本気で書きなさい。悪くはないけど平凡だよね。
彼女の死ぬとは思えないな。
この年齢でもっとできてちゃんと練習してるあなたには期待してたのにがっかりだわアガット弟子には
Who? You look so different.
しない我が一族に才能なき者は必要ない
なんで思い出すのこんな時になぜねえ何ができる私こっちから何ができるカスタス君を助けるために私何ができるかな
今ここで役に立ちたいなら何のために魔法を使うのかよく考えろ。
Okay.
ココ動ける状況が知りたいわ岸がくぼんでるおかげでここだけ流れが遅いの流される心配はないと思うでも泥だらけで滑っちゃって登れそうにないしクスタス君の意識はなくて岩は大人でも動かせそうにない大きさそれから
It is so crazy that I mean, isn't her ink in a little glass vial? But the paper is. I mean, you don't need paper, right? You could just draw on the rock. Not gonna be that good, but you could draw on the rock. Ink probably not the best idea. I do wonder because the ink has a power. Could you mix the ink in something else? A different medium? Not medium, but like a different paint. Could you mix the ink in there and therefore make magic seals that way? Because paint, different liquids could adhere to different surfaces, right? Could you... This is the one I am wondering. How about witch's blood? Does that have magic? Could you... Because the first instinct I had was her biting her thumb and then drawing a sigil out of blood. A casting seal. Is that possible? Could you... If not, could you mix the ink with blood? For some reason, I feel like blood would adhere better to surfaces than normal ink. Let's see.
魔法使いでない人々に魔法を書くところを見られてはいけない。どうしよう。アガット！どうしたらいいの？
I mean, Coco can do magic. No one is looking at her.
イースヒス、カルン近郊の村より報告が。
Oh, these are the knights that keep order, right?
何でも上流の泥森に巨大な水柱を見たと。
向かお
Ooh.
う。
こんな葉っぱ。
If they are the knights that keep order and they then see these two use magic in front of non-witches, this could end badly. I'm assuming they are not connected to Agot. I guess she is like the daughter of like some kind of big witch family akin to like nobility, maybe. Some family that wants strong mages or witches, and she was not good enough, seemingly. Even though there were a couple voices that did rightfully point out she is a kid. Yeah, I'm assuming they are not connected to her.
こんな八方塞がりの状態であの子はまだ諦めてない。 せめて魔法が使えたら。アガット、ねえ、あれ持ってる？あれあれだよ、オルギオ先生の指輪。そうか、合わせ指輪。これがあれば、神さえなんとかなれば、覚えたての浮遊魔法で岩を浮かせてクスタス君を助けられるはずだけど、ここには無理だわ。
What? Why?
魔法使いが普通の人の前で魔法を書くときは、その長いマントで完全に手元を隠さなきゃならない。
I mean, I like the
長い
communication.
マントで完全に手元を隠さなきゃならない。
Argot shakes her head and Coco's like, yeah. I understood. Yeah, I'm going to do magic. No, don't hide your magic. Yeah, do magic. Good.
指先の記憶のみで書く離れ技が必要となる。
And you just use the cloak over that.
みな
Yeah, and you could just remove these guys from the edge, right?
私はキーフリーが一番弟子、魔法使いアガット・アークロム。この身に与えられし魔法の力、今からご覧に入れましょう。
Arklom.
積み重ねてきた訓練は、やるべき時にやるべきことを恐れないためのもの。ここには無理でも、私なら。
Right. Oh, this is what she was working on? Because we saw her use the light beam, which I totally forgot about, to be honest. Because this is also quite a good signal. But she was trying to recreate this.
It's 冬の魔法は辛いもで練習したばかりだもん。私でもきっとできる。ダメだ。練習したばかりだからこそわかる。大きくて重い岩を動かす魔法を書くためには破片手帳じゃ小さすぎる。
Okay, I see. What about multiple small ones? It would not be the first time that we compensated. Instead of using a big spell, we used a bunch of small ones. Also, you don't need to levitate it off the body, right? Just make it light enough, and then you could use like a wind sigil to just blast it off.
よかった、気がついたんだね。
あんたは。
私はここ魔法使い。私たち上から落ちたの覚えてる？
I feel like we should add apprentice in the future. Different expectations.
まだ生きてんのか。光の鳥なんか見えてるからてっきり死んだのかと。
あれは魔法だよ。私の友達の魔法なの。友達の魔法。
Oh, so we go with the cloud.
それだ。ここから視線をそらすのも限界がある。早く。
なあ、あの魔法は綺麗だが、それだけなのか。
さっきから空を照らしてばかりで何もしてやいないじゃないか。人を乗せて飛んだりとか下に降りて助けてくれたりはしないのか。
Valid question.
もういい、自分で降りて助けに行く。
今見られたらダメです。そっちに行っちゃ。
Like a little balloon. No control. Or she just used the... I don't know how effective that is, but the rock crusher. Totally forgot about that one. Yeah, she can just crush the rock, right? That way it is easier or lighter, then she can levitate it.
Coco, あなた。
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh! So she made her cape fly. By the way, I believe it's the same stitches she used in the first trial, right? The only one she knows that has a good effect.
あなた。よかった。ちょっとうまくいってよかった。どうしようかと思った。本当によかったよ。ちょっとやめてよ。それよりもあなたあの状況からどうやって。何これ。砂。岩を崩す魔法につい最近助けられたのを思い出したの。そうか。壁崩しの魔法なら小さな魔法陣で人を傷つけずに岩だけを砂に変えることができる。そう。あの時は何も手伝えなかったけど、友達の魔法が助けてくれたの。私一人じゃできなかった。光る鳥を見て思い出したんだ。助けてくれてありがとう、アガット。光ののろしは先生たちを呼び戻すためよ。自分だけのためだと思わないで。それに友達になった覚えは。本当によかった。クスタス君を助けられて。お母さんもいつかきっと。絶対必ず。ここ。
I'm assuming it's the knights, right? I forgot their name, but they more or less keep order. Now, Keyfrey got permission to keep Coco here, right? I wonder. I can't really do anything to her, right? Are they maybe getting punished because they used magic in front of others without succeeding in the second trial? I can see that. Now, I wanted to say Coco didn't, but she did also do that, right? Because the kid was there. He was not unconscious. So she also used magic in front of someone else without succeeding in the second trial. Now the question is that a requirement by law or whatever, or is that a requirement of Keyfrey?
何これ。白銀色の高速機。それに黄色のマントに羽根付き帽子。まさか負けるだ。
どちらだ。魔法を使ったのはお前か、それともお前か。子供といえど容赦はしない。どちらだ。つばあり棒の手先の者は。
違います。私たちつばあり棒なんかじゃない。使ったのも禁止魔法じゃなくて人助けのための魔法です。
ならば下を見てみろ。
何あれ。 岩だけじゃなくて川底まで辺り一面が砂に。
What?
川まで砕けて霧になってる。嘘、こんなの書いてない。
そうか。
What happened? We assume that she cast the break boulder spell, but for some reason there's a huge version of it being used right now. It can't be her, right? The rules were like, hey, the better you draw the spell, the longer the effect, right? And the bigger the spell, the stronger. One of the two, but these are the relations to the spell, the casting seal. The bigger, the stronger, the neater drawn, the longer it holds. Something along those lines. Then she can't really do this, can she? I mean, this seems to be you need to make a massive seal, casting seal, to do this, unless the rules are wrong, and there is a way to make it stronger.
これはお前の魔法か。お前のような見習いが禁忌を犯さずにこのような強大な魔法を使えるわけがない。
What is that? I feel like... Was it not part of the sea that trapped them inside? Last episode? Previous? No, last episode. This was part of the sea, right? The bottom part? So this is like a imprisonment spell?
強大な魔法を使えるわけがない。結託の日の掟は絶対。暴虐の報いを受けてもらう。
I mean, we know Kiefer is coming. Also, the punishment is oblivion. I wonder what he means. Is he really trying to more or less punish her, send her to the void or something? Or is he trying to erase her memories? I feel like he's trying to send her to some other dimension. Again, I believe this part of the sigil, the casting seal, was in that dungeon or whatever it was last episode, the bottom half. So I'm assuming it's a trans-dimensional teleportation thingy. But that's it, huh? So they got caught by the Knights Morales. Somehow this huge seal appeared and was activated. The question is, did that happen or not? He was saying, hey, you are an apprentice, you are not going to be able to do such a big seal. Casting seal. Right? Then how did this happen? Again, it feels like some of the rules are not correct. In this episode, we saw the water sword that didn't have a big magic circle around all the signs and sigils. So that rule is somewhat different or can be subverted. We didn't see her spell or casting seal. We assume it's a small version of the Stonebreaker. Either the strengths can be amplified in some way, shape, or form, or some of the other rules are also not correct. Because all the rules we know are the rules that are passed down by the witches, which are then or were passed down by the people that wanted to contain the power of the magic and witches. So all of these rules could be Fugazi, right? They could just be somewhat right, but not really. Like the strength of a spell can maybe be modified in some way. Maybe there are specific signs that strengthen spells. Maybe there's a specific way you can draw the magic circle or casting seal. Because we have the magic circle, maybe if you do a different symbol, you may be able to do it, may become stronger. Maybe if you do a 3-dimensional casting seal, it gets even more stronger. Who knows? There's definitely something up with the rules. I don't, because the other way, if the rules stay like they are, would mean that the brimmed heads was somehow prepared a giant casting seal to do the same effect, or came along or were inside the head. Again, we saw that one in the head. And in the head, they used the magic seal to do the effect. I could see that happening. I could see that maybe inside the head is like a face distortion spell where they are hiding in. So inside it's a lot bigger than outside. And therefore they could draw the magic seal inside, transport it outside through the head, and activate. Maybe. But I'm leaning more towards that the rules we have learned are not 100% correct. Because they want to hide stuff. Which makes maybe the brimmed heads go to uncover more of the rules. Or disseminate how the magic really works.